We recently have seen gold taking a major beating when it comes to the spot price, dropping just under 1,700 about 2 or 3 days ago. And at the time of the recording of this video, it is April Fool's Day, and this is not any sort of like joke video or anything like that. A lot of people have been wondering what is exactly happening to the prices of gold. They're asking me, Stacking Stormtrooper, is now a good time to buy? Here we're seeing that gold is at $17.30 as of today, $20.70 increase in the price on the day. This video is actually discussing why gold prices have been dropping the way that they have been, and you know, I will give you my take on all of it as the video plays out. So why don't we just listen to what they actually have to say here? If I can find the play button. What the heck is going on here? Where's the play button?
We're speaking on Tuesday afternoon, and the gold price has seen further downside action hit by a stronger U.S. dollar and rising bond yields. Kind of
crazy when they cite stronger U.S. dollar, and the mentality, the thought is $1.9 trillion has just been allocated towards this new stimulus, and now they're talking about another $2-something trillion, $2.3 trillion infrastructure spending bill that's going to go over the next 10 years. So it's interesting to see that the dollar has strengthened. It kind of defies logic.
Jim Wyckoff, senior market analyst at Kitco News, is here to break down what's going on with the markets. Jim, welcome back to the show.
Hello, David. Always nice to be with you.
Tailwinds remain strong for gold, Jim, and you and I were talking offline about the nominal yield hitting 14-month highs and the U.S. dollar hitting 5-month highs. Now, neither of these things are good for gold. We'll talk about these fundamentals first before we talk about the technicals. So, you know, 1.72 for the 10-year yield. A lot of people were saying this level is kind of a tipping point. What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure it's a tipping point. It certainly is a 14-month high for the U.S. Treasury note yield, and that is helping to strengthen the U.S. dollar index, which in turn is putting pressure on the gold and silver market. So that's certainly one bearish fundamental element, along with the recent drop in crude oil prices, which suggests that that market has put in a near-term peak. And then you're seeing some weakness across the raw commodity sector. Some of the soft commodities weaker today. Grain prices sharply lower. So we're kind of having a contagion effect in the raw commodity sector from the appreciating U.S. dollar and the wobbly crude oil market.
Okay, Jim, last time we spoke a couple weeks ago, you had mentioned that the technicals for gold remain weak. Well, here we are. It's back below $1,700 an ounce. Question, isn't it, Jim? Are technicals still weak for gold?
They indeed are, David. In fact, a little more bearish than we spoke last time. We hit a new 3-week low today in the gold market. We've got some very strong chart support at the March low of 1673 and change. If we drop below that level, you open up the door to a challenge of $1,600. So the bulls need to strongly defend that March low, and if they can't, there's going to be significantly more downside likely.
Okay, so that, at least from my perspective, it's like music to my ears. I'm one of the individuals who wants to see gold drop tremendously. I would love to stack as much gold as I possibly can for the cheapest amount that I possibly can. And the way I want it to work out for myself, you know, I have another 20 years or so of time before I can retire. I want the metal prices to stay as low as possible over the next 20 years. And then as soon as it comes time for me to retire, I want the prices to skyrocket. That's what I would like to see. But I know a lot of us in the stacking community, you know, we would like to see the prices to come down, obviously. There's a lot of us who want to see this.
All right. What would cause a reversal in the U.S. dollar and nominal yields, for that matter? Because I see them being related.
Well, I think something that could put some pressure on the dollar would be some big stimulus spending that would work to deflate the currency.
But this just happened. We just saw $1.9 trillion in free money. When I say free, I mean there's people within the community and across the nation who received the stimulus checks, and there's a lot of us who did not receive any. So, you know, we just did see $1.9 trillion in spending in free money, and we are seeing a strengthening dollar. So I'm not exactly sure as to what else could be done. Another, you know, $1 trillion in handouts, is that going to cause the dollar to weaken? Let's see what else he has to say here.
But you can also argue that that stimulus spending is going to strengthen the U.S. economy. So
okay, so now from the other standpoint, they're saying, okay, you're going to give the $1.9 trillion to the citizens of the country, and then in turn, they're going to take that money and they're going to pump it right into the economy, buying needless stuff or paying, buying trips and buying electronics and gadgets and things like that, clothing, and spurring the economy and kind of pushing it along. So you kind of have two sides to the coin.
That's kind of I guess a conundrum that we don't know yet, which way that play out. The one thing that could also pressure the dollar index is a spike in COVID cases that would close businesses down again. And
I don't see this really happening, to be completely honest. We're seeing an increase in the number of vaccinations that are being given to individuals. Some recent news shows that there's 100% efficacy in the trials of the 12 to 15-year range for the vaccination. So we know that there's going to be a whole host of new people being able to get that vaccine. So I'm not saying that COVID is a thing of the past. We still have to be careful with it, but I'm not seeing, that becoming an issue where we're going to see complete shutdowns of businesses.
And damage the U.S. economy.
Well, let me ask you this. How much of the dollar strength is caused by the strengthening, or rather the rising of the U.S. 10-year yield?
It's significant, David. It's a big factor. The rising bond yields are more attractive to foreign investors, and they've got to buy those bond and notes with U.S. dollars.
Yeah, and I've heard that the rising bond yields are in turn caused by rising inflation expectations. Where do you stand on this argument?
Yeah, rising interest rate expectations, rising inflation expectations. You know, there's a strong argument that central banks have flooded the financial system with liquidity, and that was, Economics 101 tells us that's going to lead to price inflation down the road. And that's the camp I'm in also.
Let's go back to the technicals of gold now. You were talking about it earlier. 1684 is currently where we're at. Have you revised downwards your support level?
Okay, so they were at 1684 yesterday. Like I said, the time of the recording of this video is April 1st. I don't know if I'm going to drop this video today or in a couple of days from now. Maybe today, being that it's kind of time sensitive. But when we look at the prices now, though, of gold, right, we're seeing here that it's up $20 today. So now we're back up to 1729. So it's interesting. I mean, again, this is like an overall trend. You're going to see increases and decreases in pricing throughout any given day. But right now, after the time of this Kitco interview, we're up about $30.
Well, no, the strong support lies at the March low of 1673.30. And if we do drop below that level, that's probably going to set off some sell stop orders in the futures markets to drive prices even lower. The downside target then would be about $1,600.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe you can give us a little introduction to technical analysis here, but usually when something hits the support level, does it not mean that it's going to rebound? Or would you interpret that as meaning that the price will continue to fall downwards?
Well, you're right on both counts. Closer to that support level, there is going to be some strong support there that's going to try and make that market bounce back higher. But if you drop below that support level on the chart, then that...
We're going to fast forward over here to the silver. Let's see what they have to say about silver here. I know some of you silver bugs out there want to hear.
There's also seen some downward action today. Would you say that silver is following gold right now, Jim?
Yeah, I would say that. Silver hit a multi-month low, I think about a 4.5-month low today. Prices trending down. Both gold and silver prices are trending down. That means the path of least resistance for prices remains sideways to lower.
Sideways to lower. All right, well, keep an eye out for that. Thank you. Oil now, last topic of the conversation.
Okay, we're all set with the whole bit of oil here. We're not going to listen to that.
We're speaking on...
But so now they're saying sideways to lower is what they are seeing. Again, here we're seeing a $20 increase on the day for gold so far. We're up 34 cents on silver. Whether or not this is going to remain this way is yet to be seen. But I still say all the time, the whole buying the dip thing, it's a non-existent thing. I don't believe in it. There's no such thing as dips unless, we get back to a time where premiums are more in line with spot prices. Until we see that shift from this new paradigm that we're in, we're not going to see any real good buying opportunities that people are claiming that they are seeing. So we will see. We'll see what happens in the next handful of days. I'm still bullish on gold. Silver, I'm kind of more, like I said, speculating with it, buying it for flipping, not so much stacking. I've got to see silver come down to around $20 an ounce. That way I could kind of start stacking at a heavier rate. But right now, when it comes to gold has a much better premium as it relates to the spot price, in my opinion. So for me right now, I am still buying gold. Curious as to what you guys are doing. Comment down below. Are you buying gold? Are you buying silver? Are you buying both? Are you doing something different? Let us know. And I just want to quickly thank these elite channel supporters. And if you haven't become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, I'm the Stacking Stormtrooper. Check out these videos. Until next time, long live the Empire.